Hi, I'm Zach, and this is Challenger Vedic Astrology and Tarot. Welcome to the channel. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about how you will meet your spouse. And if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out me and the channel. To be notified whenever I release a new video, be sure to hit the bell icon and select all. And if you'd like a Vedic Sidereal birth chart, a personal tarot reading, or an astrology consultation, the links to those will be in the description box and the comments below. And if you'd like to donate to help support the channel, the links to those will be in the description box as well. Okay, so last Valentine's Day was kind of rough for me. My dog died, and I happened to be filming the Ardra video. We broke down into tears. And for those that don't know, Ardra is the nakshatra or constellation tied to heartbreak and sorrow. So I decided to do a more hopeful video for this year. So we're going to be talking about how you will meet your spouse. Now, when I talk about this, it doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is. If you're straight, gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Or whatever else you consider yourself. It's irrelevant. Here's what you look at. You look at Venus. You look at the 7th Lord. That's it. And you only read it from the ascendant of the birth chart. You can look at it by making Moon the first house in the birth chart, but that will only show what you think for how you want to meet your spouse. It's like how you try to meet people. But from the ascendant is the only thing that shows how you will meet them. Now, some might think, if you're a woman, you should look at Mars if you're attracted to men, right? Or some people will say Jupiter. Don't look at Jupiter. Mars is if you're attracted to men. Venus is if you're attracted to women. But we're talking about how you meet your spouse. Doesn't matter if you're man, woman, attracted to men or women. Doesn't matter. Always look at Venus. Venus is the one planet you look at. Venus's job is for you to procreate. Simple. Venus's job is to help you fall in love, get married, make babies. That's the most important job Venus has. This is why you look at Venus. Now, 7th Lord, 7th house is relationships. So you have to look at the 7th Lord. Now, what do we ignore? We ignore the Darakarka. For those that don't know, Darakarka represents your spouse to some extent. Well, to a big extent. It's the planet with the lowest degree. But we do not use that for how you will meet your spouse. Okay. So, we're going to look at an example chart. We're going to use my brother Jacob's chart. He just got married last year. So, we're going to jump right in with his chart. Let's get to it. Here we have my brother Jacob's chart. Now, my brother is bisexual. He just married a man last year. But, either way, even if you're attracted to women, you still look at Venus. Venus is most important. Remember, Venus wants you to get married, make babies. Or, in the case of somebody who's same-sex attracted, just get married. Get into a relationship. But here we have Venus sitting in Aries in the 2nd house. Now, not only do you take where Venus sits, the sign it's in, the house it's in, you also take the houses Venus rules. So in this case, Venus rules the 3rd house and the 8th house, with Taurus and Libra. and sits in the second house. So, for how my brother met his spouse, they met online, on a dating app. They met in secret. Third house is social media and internet. Eighth house is secrecy. Nobody knew that he was meeting anyone. And they met at a restaurant. Second house is food. So this is how my brother met the man he married. Now, with this, there's another factor that we look at. Like I said, the seventh lord we also have to look at. But I want to reiterate, with Venus, you read it from the ascendant in the birth chart. That's what I've blown up here for you. You look the house Venus sits in, the sign it sits in. You look at the houses Venus rules, Taurus and Libra, and where Venus is gone. That will allow you to read this. Now, let's talk about the seventh lord. So, my brother has his seventh lord, Mercury, in the first house. Okay. So, you might think, oh, that means he'll meet his spouse while doing some physical activity or something, because it's in the first house of the body. But no, here's the trick with this. With this technique, you're going to look at the seventh house from the seventh lord. And the symbolism of that zodiac sign will represent your spouse. Like, you will see that symbolism where you meet them. Now, my brother doesn't remember the symbolism when he met his spouse. But his seventh lord, Mercury, sits in Pisces. So, seventh from Pisces becomes Virgo. The symbolism of Virgo is a young virgin woman holding medicine and wheat. So, like at that restaurant, or even the dating app, where he met his spouse, that symbolism would have been there. On a picture on the wall. Maybe there was a picture of wheat or something like that. These kinds of things would be seen. Now, I have an actual example of this. I'm not going to show you the chart, but I know somebody who had their seventh lord in Virgo. So opposite was Pisces. So how did that person, what symbolism did they see? Well, Pisces is represented by fish. So that person met their spouse on a dating app called Plenty of Fish. It can be that simplistic. Now, I'm actually going to do this for every zodiac sign for y'all. That way, you know. So, let's say your seventh lord is in Aries. Well, for you, it will be Libra. Okay, so Libra is the scales. Libra is the courtroom. So, there would be symbolism of the scales, of the courtroom, of justice. Anything tied to the law. Could even be like a gavel. That's the symbolism you'll see. Now let's say your seventh lord sits in Libra. Opposite would be Aries. So Aries is the ram. So you would see symbolism of a ram. I would say, that could even be sheep. It doesn't necessarily have to be the ram with horns. Now, let's say your seventh lord is in Taurus. Well, opposite is Scorpio. So, The symbolism you would see when you meet your spouse, the person you'd marry, would be tied to Scorpio. Well, Scorpio is the scorpion. So, you might see a scorpion as like wall decor where you meet them. Or maybe you see someone with a scorpion tattoo. This is how, the things that you can see with this. Okay, now what if your 7th lord is in Scorpio? Well, 7th from that becomes Taurus. Taurus is the bull. So now you will see symbolism of a bull when you meet your spouse. Possibly even a cow. Now, let's say your 7th lord is in Gemini. Opposite becomes Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius is represented by the centaur with a bow and arrow. So, you will either see a bow and arrow, or, a bow or arrow separate, or you will see a mutated figure. Doesn't necessarily have to be a centaur. Could even be like a minotaur, for instance. Also, that would apply if your 7th lord is in Scorpio, because it's still a bull. Now, if it's in Sagittarius, your 7th lord in Sagittarius, opposite is Gemini. Gemini isn't the twins. Don't think it's twins. It's two lovers embracing. That is the actual symbolism of Gemini. So, if you see that symbolism, you can meet your spouse there. Now, let's say your 7th lord is in Cancer. Opposite is Capricorn. Capricorn is represented by a goat. So, you could see symbolism of a goat. Now, if your 7th lord is in Capricorn, 7th from that becomes Cancer. Cancer is represented by a crab. You could see symbolism of a crab. I don't know, maybe you're meeting at a beach and there's a seafood restaurant or something. Weirder things have happened. Now, if your 7th lord is in Leo, 7th from that becomes Aquarius. Aquarius is represented by an old man pouring a jug of water. Pouring water out of a broken vase. So, you will see symbolism of a vase or vase. Now, if your 7th lord is in Aquarius, 7th from that becomes Leo. So, with that, Leo is the lion. So, you can see symbolism of a lion, but Leo is also the king. So, you could even see symbolism of a crown, a scepter, a throne as well. Now, one last factor with Venus. The symbolism you see when you meet your spouse will also be tied to the constellation or nakshatra that Venus is in. So, in my brother's case, he has his Venus in Ashwini. This is represented by horses. So, you could have also seen symbolism of a horse. Yeah, so this was how you meet your spouse in Vedic Sidereal Astrology. Like I said, you focus on Venus. Where it sits, the sign it sits in, the houses it rules with Taurus and Libra. All of that will be important, and you read that from the ascendant. Now, also from the ascendant, you look where the 7th lord is gone. And then, the direct opposite house, 7 places away from that 7th lord. That symbolism, and the symbolism of the nakshatra or constellation that Venus is in. With the 7th from the 7th lord, it's the Zodiac sign that you need to pay attention to. That symbolism. But yeah, hopefully, you all have found this helpful. Yeah, figured it was a good video to release for Valentine's Day, because I realized I hadn't done a video like this yet. Now, this won't be helpful to those that don't know astrology. You do have to know some astrology for these techniques to make sense to you. But yeah, hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Really helps out me in the channel. To be notified whenever I release a new video, be sure to hit the bell icon and select all. And if you'd like a Vedic Sidereal birth chart, a personal tarot reading, or an astrology consultation, the links to those will be in the description box and the comments below. And if you'd like to donate to help support the channel, the links to those will be in the description box as well. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.